Well, I'm down here by the river again. So I, with the traffic, I always feel like it's not going to be okay. But I've learned that with the camera facing towards me, the mic seems to project my direction also, and does relatively good enough for people to hear me. So what I wanted to do is we want to get straight into the scripture as I've changed to make sure that we get directly to scripture first, because that's the most important part of these messages, is to see to it that you hear some of the scripture from the Bible. We're going to talk about today is Numbers 20:11. That's Numbers 20:11. It says, "And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. And the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also." Now, there's this is from King James Bible Online org. And then, so I tell you that because there's some context here that they've written, so we'll give them credit for what they've written. So it says the Numbers 20:11 context. It says, verse 8, "Take the rod and gather thy assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water. And thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock, so that thou shalt give the congregation and the beast drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord and commanded him, as he commanded him, and the Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, lest we fetch you water out of this rock. And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. And the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, Because ye believe not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore ye shall not bring this congregation to the land which I have given them. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and was sanctified in them. And Moses sent messengers from Canaan until the king of Edom. Thus says my brother Israel, Thou knowest all the travel has befallen us." So what it's basically saying is he struck the rock, struck it twice, when theoretically he was supposed to just touch the rock. It's not by Moses' staff and the hand that controlled the staff by Moses hitting the rock that he all of a sudden created a spring. All he had to do was touch the rock, and it would have brought forth water for the people. God took care of everyone in the wilderness. Now there is talk that says that the rock represented Jesus, and by striking Jesus, it's symbolism, and it's showing that you were wrong. You don't have to be aggressive with Jesus. You don't have to strike Jesus. You don't have to be aggressive with God. You just ask peacefully, and God takes care of us. So what is today's message is something I was going to mention right off here. And of course I didn't make it down by the river here, because it's the message and the thought today that I put in my notes is dehydration. And it's interesting, it's kind of quiet today. It's Tuesday, and it was raining earlier. It's just kind of quiet down by the river this time, except for all the traffic out on the main road. Now they're doing fiber lines in the distance, and they're actually right now they're coming across the other part of the river with these fiber lines. As I understand it, these fiber lines are going to bring some good internet, and I understand them to be the same fiber lines that are in some other areas that are already up and going. Some of what this fiber will do is it'll increase the upload speeds. And I never gave much thought to upload speeds earlier in the past. I'd always download this. We're all sitting now, we're up to gig speed. And upload would be so much, less. In my situation, even with the 5G right now, I haven't noticed anything greater as far as, but I have noticed in just the regular 5G, it's actually 40 and then the upload, I've actually seen some things around 15 or 20, which in times past have always been around 5 on the upload. Now when you go from 5 to 20, you've cut your time by easily, not just half, but 4 times as much. So when I do make a video, when I go to upload it off my phone, I'm not sitting there with trying to find a signal. And then I can do it at the house and it sits there, but if I want to do it going on the road, it's nice to know I'm free and clear. I've uploaded the signal before I hit a med spot where it's got to restart and everything. The technology for me is sometimes when the phone reaches another tower, reconnects the data and loses it. Sometimes uploads are unstable and I feel like that sometimes it might get stuck or something. I want a fast upload, I want to be clear of it. Also in this case, I need to be clear of it so I can go ahead and offload the data off the phone to clear space. Because these videos take up some space, and I get them off the phone to start the next video and get them secured. And once they're uploaded, to get them secured off another device. So that's just an interesting thought. While we're on the subject, I did mention the internet. People tell you all day long, internet is very bad and the internet is very good. We've got many good things on the internet. The world has many bad things and many good things we can do with it and do in it. Sometimes you're in the wrong place doing the wrong thing, and that's just becomes a lifestyle. And you're on the internet using it for the wrong things, but the internet always has the ability to connect people and do the right thing. Jobs especially, communicating with friends and family. There are people who do get on the internet and stay on the internet and they neglect the real world. And then some people, I think about how they spend most time bored. The internet just takes the place of being bored at the moment. So it goes all different directions. And sometimes other people have their opinions. Oh, you're too much on the internet. Other people, it's none of their business because you feel like you've learned something on the internet. The internet is full of educational things that you can never learn. Now, of course, that comes to the forum wars, they call it. One person will tell you this is right, the next 20 people say this is wrong. And you've got to, they say with a grain of salt, you've got to look at what they're saying. And that relates directly to the Bible. And there again, I read you the numbers, and it's called the address. One pastor put it. He said, when you learn the address or someone tells you the address, you can look it up and say, okay, I understand this part of the Bible. I understand what they're saying here. You can read more than what I told you about numbers and the wilderness, the Moses striking the rock. But the point is that I wanted to make about this message called dehydration. And amazingly enough, I purposely come here by the river because I want to connect the two. I read the news about a football game where people in the day, it's actually later in the evening, it's not a bad day, but people weren't drinking enough water, maybe they drank too much sodas, but they probably didn't drink anything. You get all caught up in the game, you're getting all up and cheering and excited, and that burns some energy, burns some calories, and at the same time it can go through some water. The biggest lesson I learned was Sunday, this is my thought, this relates to the lesson I learned, when you're out on Sunday and you've gone to church or you've done some Sunday dinner, it's not so bad, but you're not stacking up in water. 24 hours prior is when you stack up in water. So when you're going to be out doing something, let's say you're going to go out all day Saturday on the lake. Well, come Friday at work, a lot of people stand around the water cooler, but also come Friday evening, keep drinking some water. You get that water in your system. 24 hours prior is what you make up for. You already know that you're going to be out. You can't drink water as well during the time you're already out. That's when you're already sweating and burning through the available water. So we speak of dehydration, and I speak of how important it is to drink water and force yourself to drink water. There was a discussion, and Alzheimer's is another situation that's come to be a major problem lately. More people have done more discoveries maybe before. They said, oh, you're just older and you're not thinking clearly. But they've diagnosed a lot more early signs of Alzheimer's. They've diagnosed not thinking clearly is more of Alzheimer's. And people are living longer healthy-wise, so other things start to affect you. One of the things with Alzheimer's they interestingly discovered is water is clear. So a person doesn't necessarily see water as good. Now we see water as important. So I don't know how you'd fix that. Maybe more push more of a colored water, some kind of juice or something like that. That's something that might help some of these people you know that are starting to see signs of Alzheimer's and things like that. Alzheimer's also brings more complications because people do dehydrate, and that puts you in a very, very bad mental fog due to dehydration on top of the Alzheimer's. So it's very important to see too that these people who don't think to drink, or that have the odor fog in their mind, they're a little older, don't think about it, and others just don't have the physical ability because they want to drink and just enough for thirstiness, but they don't want to drink too much because the effort to go to the restroom is very difficult. So we've got to try to encourage help them to go to the restroom. At the same time, we've got to encourage them drinking, and when they need to go to the restroom, we've got to help them. That's a tough situation, but when you get the dehydration under control a little better, some of this thing that you think is seriously increasing the Alzheimer's is really, our health is sometimes just a matter of the situation. So as I speak of dehydration and everything, it's very important to hydrate. And there's always these little help videos and everything else. Let's see, what is that saying? It's so many days without food, and then you get down to very few. You can't go more than a couple of days without water, and it instantly takes effect on you pretty fast. So God provides water, as it says in the scripture. God provides everything. You got to have faith in Him, but at the same time, we have to take advantage of what's provided to us. And some of these lessons, like I say, are not so much scriptural. Then that's why I wanted to get a scripture in the very beginning. The importance of even God saw the importance of people having water. It's just a body function that's required. We said that we were 80% water, and that's why we are attracted to water. There's just something nice about water. Now, as I say, these videos are self-help, helping you, maybe help somebody you know that's older. Like I say, they might have some memory fog problems, but you yourself, you've got to drink some water. These people are passing out. They say once you pass out with overheating and heat exhaustion and lack of water, they say you're just never quite the same. We're trying to build people out there. We want you to be the same. We want you to be healthy. We want you to enjoy life. Live a long time, so when you do actually win the lottery, or you get that good job, make good money, you can do so much, but you haven't neglected the little things. Because water's little. There's all these exercises they say do, in comparison, water, just being sure and drinking that water is not a lot of effort compared to going and physically running. They say when you go to exercise, you have to push yourself a minimum of 45 minutes to push your body into the actual exercise beneficial mode. So if you just run around, treadmill or something for 5 or 10 minutes, you haven't done enough. 45 minutes on average, and maintain it up to 45 minutes. And it's good to get the full hour, I guess, but until you do 45 steady minutes of exertion, you haven't done much, is what the experts are saying. But you can research some on the internet, most people have heard. But there again, it's about drinking the water right now. We spoke of the importance of water. This message, I want to put in there as a reminder to drink your water and be ready for the day. And that drinking water beforehand was something I learned that I certainly need to pass on to you, because that was not much thought. We sit around on Sunday, we watch movies, we might drink a Coke or something, and Sunday morning drink some juice, drink some coffee, like we do a lot of mornings. But we're getting ready for something on Monday, a work week or something. And especially when you're younger and you haven't really been out in the work field much. been in school, and now you're doing something out in the heat. And we speak of the heat as a bad thing, doing stuff out in the heat. The interesting thing is the people who go to college, come out of college, it's nice. They get in an environmental area and they work on computers, but those jobs are starting to get pretty full. Some of the jobs, tradesman jobs, are in the future are going to be in higher demand, they say. Plus you go, sometimes on job training. Well, there's so many people out of college that are looking for work. They don't need on-job training. They need somebody ready to go that's got experience. They're not interested in training you on a job. They want you in that position working. So there's many trade jobs where they want a partner, a helper. And you can learn the job, you go out on your own, and you can make good money if you start looking at the right jobs. That man with dirty jobs, he had mentioned it too, about the trades and things like that. So don't overlook the trades, but pick a trade. Some of us do multiple things, and I think sometimes that puts us at limits. When you're in a certain trade, like air conditioning, or you're in plumbing and you do 100% plumbing, you're getting the plumbing calls, you're getting things that you have experience, that you have the tools, and you're ready to go. If you're all over the place, you're doing fencing or you're doing plumbing and some electrical, it's great, but you're seen as just a simple man who does everything, the jack of all trades they call it. And that's not a profession I've seen over a period of time when they say, okay, this is the AC man, he's a professional. And so, you know, the big high paying position jobs are dedicated jobs. It says, you know, this is a commercial plumber, this is a commercial air conditioning man, this is a man who's had experience in 20 years in air conditioning. You know, so we know we put him out there, he'll know many different models, how to fix many troubleshoot problems. Not somebody who has worked, done so many different things, but really doesn't professionally know anything. So I suggest a trade that's more direct. Joining the military is great, and some of those jobs are kind of fun, exciting, but at the same time, these veterans are supposed to get first priority, and that's great. At the same time, though, sometimes it's difficult because you got one veteran that come out with something that was done in the military that goes to civilian life. Well, they're going to get that job. There's so many jobs in the military, computers and so many other things. The job in the military can easily transfer over, medical especially. But you want to go into the some job that the military only has these type of equipment. So keep that in mind when you're looking for your future career. And now some people can do the particular military jobs because they like the idea of it, and they turn around and use that as college education, and that's great too. But sometimes the experience of military, learning it and everything, then you go to college and you say, look, I've gone to college and I've got a degree in this, but plus I've had X number of years of real world experience. So let's remember that real world experience does wonders for the jobs now. People come out of college, they don't have any real world experience to back it up, and there's hundreds, maybe I'd say easily thousands of people coming out of college nowadays. So anyway, this is one of these little self-help videos. I put you back down by the river, and we speak of water, and we speak of the importance of water in our lives. So let's keep that in mind. And of course, I know it's probably like one of these safety things you hear about, but I've heard many safety speeches, and it's interesting enough to know he's talking about hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. But first time in a long time in history, in fact, I heard a repeat, but I've only heard it twice in history, that says 24 hours is so important. So I'm reminded of that. And then I'm listening to how the story of people got treated for heat exhaustion at the game. Let's not forget, in these evenings, the heat seems to still be around, even on the cool of the night. You're doing activities, you gotta drink. And the saying also is, for every bottle of Gatorade, which is important, you need to take a bottle of water with it. Water is straight processing. Gatorade does electrolytes and other things, all that stuff. But you gotta get equal balance, you gotta get water inside of it. So let's remember that too. So anyway, this is just a simple message on that. Gave you a little scripture, how God can do wonders for people who need it. God can provide water, but we need to make sure we drink our water. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. This is maybe not exciting, but you've heard some things about water and taking care of yourself a little better today. And that'll always continue to help you in the future.